Chapter 17, Nina. The next morning, Dominic let me sleep in. He's dressed when I finally open my eyes. Good morning, cutie. I don't feel so cute in the mornings, not these days. Morning sickness is not a girl's best friend. Some mornings are worse than others. Today might be an exception, maybe. I haven't sat up yet, and that could change. I stretch with a yawn, looking over at the clock radio on the nightstand. It's after 9:30. I sit up on the side of the bed. So far, so good. I make it to my feet, standing to get my bearings, and head is fine, stomach is fine. My mouth is not hypersalivating, warning me that my stomach is about to revolt on me. I walk over to my suitcase and then the closet to grab clothes for the day. We are due at his parents' house around 11. I head into the bathroom and shower. I get cleaned up, dressed, brush my teeth, and put on a tiny bit of makeup. The Texas sun is not exactly something to play around with, even this time of year. A few minutes later, Dominic and I are on our way to Rockwall to see his family. Not only his parents, his brothers and their girlfriends too. I'm not sure how serious the brothers and their girlfriends are, but I do know that Dom and I are pretty serious. Serious as you can get. Married, a baby on the way. If these girlfriends are visiting with the parents, things must be more than a little casual. A little while later, we're pulling up to a large home on a cul-de-sac lot. Wrought iron fencing on at least an acre lot. The two-story home is beige brick with Austin stone, dark wood stained shutters. The front door is about 10 feet tall. It's dark stained wood that matches the shutters. Dominic walks over to my side of the car and opens the door for me. There are two cars in the driveway. I assume the brothers are here. We walk hand in hand to the front door. He knocks as he is opening, leading me down a hallway that leads to a kitchen and open concept living room. There's a rectangular table in the corner of the kitchen with 6 chairs around it. The kitchen island has 4 high-back bar stools. Dominic's parents, brothers, and their girlfriends are sitting around the table. The men all stand up as we come closer to the table. All tall and just as handsome as Dominic. After handshakes and hugs, Dominic introduces me to everyone, starting with his parents. Jonathan and Catherine Cannon, this is my wife, Nina. Wife? Since when? One of the brothers asked. Looking over at me, he asked, how did you manage to land this self-proclaimed terminal bachelor? Michael, that was before I met Nina. Nina, this is my older brother, Michael. He extends his hand to me, and I shake it. Turning to the other brother, Dominic introduces me. Jeremy, this is Nina. Jeremy is the baby. He also extends his hand to shake. Michael chimes in again. Nina, this is my girlfriend, Carrie, and that's Shauna, Jeremy's girlfriend. Pointing to each one, they each smile at me. There will be a test at the end, and you need to remember each name. He smiles at me. Lay off, Mike, Dom tells him. So, Nina, how did you meet this bum? Mike pushes Dominic's shoulder. Our mutual friend, Connie, introduced us. I wasn't sure how to answer that. We hadn't really discussed it. Nina was wanting to take the firearm safety course, and Connie introduced her to me. I am the best instructor in Aurora Vista, after all. Honey, I think you're the only instructor in Aurora Vista, but keep telling yourself that. I razz Dominic. I think I like you, Mike says to me. Me too. Any woman that can keep this jerk in line is all right in my book, Jeremy chimes in. I can see who the middle child is, I laugh. Leave Dominic alone, his mom finally speaks up. They used to gang up on him all the time until he got bigger than them. Mike's always been the instigator. I can see that. Dominic looks like his brothers, but he is a few inches taller and broader across the chest and shoulders. Sexier, if I do say so myself. Nuh-uh, he used to pick on Jeremy and then I would pick on him, Mike throws back. You forget that I raised you, Michael. I knew exactly what was going on around here. Jeremy never steps in to defend Mike. I have to assume he's just a bully. You tell him, Mom. He was mean to me when we were kids, Dominick says. Anyway, come sit down with us at the table, Nina. We can get lunch ready in a few minutes. I want to know all about the girl that snagged my Dominick, Catherine says. I sit down at the table next to Jeremy on my left. His parents are sitting at the head of the table to my right. Dominick sits across from me. Mike sits next to Dom. Carrie and Shauna are sitting at the island in the bar stools. All eyes are on me. Did you grow up in Aurora Vista? Catherine asked. No, ma'am. I grew up in McKinney, born and raised until I found my dream job in Aurora Vista. You both moved over 1,500 miles from home to find the love of your life. Now tell me about this wedding that we weren't invited to. Dominick didn't call or tell us anything about it. Not bitter at all. She looks over at Dominick. We went to Las Vegas and Elvis presided over the wedding at the Graceland Wedding Chapel, I explained to his mom. Sounds like a shotgun wedding to me. Is there anything you want to share with the rest of us, Dominick? The only reason to get married in Vegas is 1, you had too much to drink. 2, it was a dare. Or 3, she is pregnant. Mike throws in his 2 cents. If I didn't know any better, I would think Dominick was an expert poker player because his face doesn't give anything away. While Mike isn't wrong about the pregnancy part, we wanted to get married without any delays, Dom answers. Rush wedding to cover up a pregnancy to make sure the timing isn't in question, huh? Mike elbows Dominick in the side. Mike is entirely too perceptive. Mike, hush. He just said that's not why they got married. His dad finally speaks up. If Mike doesn't shush, I don't know how we're going to tell his parents about the baby. Dominick just denied the pregnancy. We want to do it in private, without all the prying eyes or ears, or should I say eagle eyes and ears like Mike has. We might just have to wait until they are all gone. I feel like this is something we should share in person. We did that with my parents, and I feel like we need to extend that same courtesy to Dom's parents. Mike puts his hands up in obvious surrender. Fine, my money is on her being pregnant, just saying. Mark my words. His dad glares at him. That leads us back to how long have you known each other? His mom looks to me first, then over to Dominick. That is one of the most loaded questions I've had lobbed at me in my life. We may not have known each other for that long, but from everything I do know about Dominick, he's the man I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. Every day will be another day of discovering this man, and I'm fine with that. Dominick finally answers, long enough to know that I wanted to marry Nina and spend the rest of my life with her. How long? How long, Dom? Mike asked pointedly. I think everyone here would be interested to know the answer to that question. We want to know that you didn't bring Nina into this family without knowing who she is. I should be a little insulted, but I get it. In reality, probably right at a month. Mike, you really need to just mind your own business. All you need to know is that we're in love, and I know who Nina is. Who's ready for lunch? Catherine thankfully jumps in to change the subject. I stand up to follow Catherine around the island to see what she needs me to do. The guys are still talking about us. Shauna and Carrie are still perched on their stools. Don't worry, honey, the Cannon men are just intense by nature. Mike likes to give Dominick a hard time about everything. She opens the fridge, pulling chicken salad and the veggie tray out. In that cabinet are glasses, and that one has plates. Catherine points to each one. Find out what everyone wants to drink. Ice is in the door of the fridge. I have sweet tea, water, and sodas. I pull out 8 glasses and 8 plates. The girlfriends just watch Catherine and I get everything ready. Not that there was that much to do. His mom must have been busy before we got here. I ask each person what they want to drink and get it for them. Once everything is ready, Catherine says, everything is out here on the island. Help yourself. After everyone gets their food, the guys sit in the dining room table. Still talking about whatever it is that men discuss, probably computers, cars, Dom's favorite, guns and ammo. Us girls sit at the island and talk about wedding plans for Jeremy and Shauna. Every once in a while, one of the guys interjects something into our conversation. Mike seems like the type to command a room. Jeremy follows his lead. Dominick and his dad just sit and listen unless they have something to add to the conversation. I see where Dom gets his eye color and build from. His dad is handsome, older version of him. A little salt and pepper around his temples. Same intense stare, same height, maybe a little heavy around the midsection, but it happens as you age. Dad bods can be sexy, and I know what Dominick's bod can do to mine. I know technically he isn't a dad yet, and I mentally shudder. I excuse myself to go to the restroom. I do my business in the powder bath, down the hallway, away from the kitchen. As I come out, Mike is waiting outside, too. I assume to use the restroom after me. He's standing way too close to me in the narrow hallway. My heart starts racing, and my breathing increases. I'm transported back to that dark place. The helplessness, the fear, the feeling of being caged in, trapped, cut off from the rest of the world. He towers over me. He didn't make me feel uncomfortable until now. When his arm comes up to block me from heading back to the kitchen, my panic ratchets up. I squeeze my eyes shut, trying to regain my composure. Knowing that he is still blocking me from getting back to safety does nothing to said composure. "You sure are pretty," he whispers, swiping a few strands of hair behind my ear. "What do you see in my brother?" How do I answer that? Taking a step back, I lean as far as I can away from him, realizing I have nowhere else to go. Dominick isn't a creep. Dominick has never made me feel uncomfortable. Dominick doesn't make me feel unsafe. Dominick doesn't hit on married women. Dominick doesn't look at me like I'm a piece of meat to devour. Maybe a little, but I'm okay with him doing that. I have to get back, I almost whisper it. I should probably scream, but I don't want to cause a major scene on my first time meeting Dom's parents. Who would think that Dom's brother would be a creeper as well? Or is this some kind of challenge for him? Some sick, twisted revenge thing against his brother for some perceived slight? Please. He steps back and puts his arm back to his side, but not until he runs his hand along the outside of my breast. I hurry back down the hall to rejoin everyone else. Dominick is still deep in conversation. I sit in the chair next to him and scoot closer. I don't want to be away from him again. Maybe if Mike sees me next to Dom, he will stay away from me. A few seconds later, Mike comes back down the hallway and gives me a look. A smirk, a grin, a sneer. I can't discern it. It sends a chill up my spine. I feel like that's our cue to leave, but I don't want to take Dominick away from his family. I just have to avoid Mike for the rest of this visit. I grab onto Dominick's hand for comfort. He looks over at me and asks, "Are you okay?" I nod my response. He searches my face, and when he's satisfied that I am in fact okay, he resumes his conversation with the other guys. I lean into him, sitting quietly next to him, listening. "Carrie, are you ready to leave?" Mike finally asks his girlfriend. Relief floods me. I've been avoiding his prying eyes this whole time. Carrie hops off her stool, says her goodbyes, and follows her creep boyfriend out of the house. Catherine following to walk the two of them out. I can breathe again. Catherine comes back into the kitchen to clean up after lunch. I get up to help her clear the counter and wipe things down. I have to wonder if she knows what kind of guy her other son is. I would think the answer to that is a resounding no, with the way she followed them out and the way she was talking to the two of them. If it hadn't happened to me, I wouldn't have believed it either. The master manipulator. He probably has his girlfriend believing he is 100% faithful to her while his eyes and heart are straying elsewhere. Everyone else probably views him that way as well. Jeremy and Shauna decide to leave. That leaves Dominick and I alone with his parents. Now is our chance to tell them about the baby. Catherine sits down next to Jonathan again at the table, and we chat about how things are going in Aurora Vista and how married life is treating us. Dominick takes that opportunity to say, I was waiting to bring this up, but we want you to know that Nina is pregnant. That's not exactly why we got married, though. It is, and it isn't. Dominick looks over to me and asks, do you want to tell them everything? I mean, it's up to you, babe. Might as well. Mike already had an inkling about it. His parents look back and forth between us. What aren't you telling us? Jonathan asks. I met Nina after she was raped. She was introduced to me by the safe examiner in Aurora Vista. Nina wanted to take the handgun safety course for protection. She thought she was out of the woods and then found out that she's pregnant. The original plan was to pass the baby off as mine. We still might do that, but the people closest to us deserve to know the truth. I'm prepared to take on this responsibility, and I love Nina very much. I'm sorry to hear that happened to you, Nina, Catherine says. Her eyes start to tear up. Jonathan reaches across the table to pat my hand. I'm sorry. The guy that did it is in jail. He also might be tied to the rape and murder of the girl from a year ago in Aurora Vista. It's a bit complicated. The guy's a twin. He sent Nina photos taken from inside her house. Apparently the cameras were placed before Nina moved in. The way he had access to the home is because his brother, Patrick, owns a handyman company. Philip installed the cameras, watching her for over a year. He broke in and raped her. The photos showed up in her inbox on social media. The police tracked it back to Patrick's IP address. Nina talked to Patrick and found out about his brother, Philip. Philip was arrested. He sent her an apology letter and asked if she would visit him in jail. Are you planning to visit him? Does he know about the baby? Catherine asked. The only way she's going is if he adds me to the list, Dominick answers for me. At this time, he does not know. His brother Patrick is aware, but he says he won't tell him. We plan to meet with his family as well. Are you sure that's a good idea? What if they try to get custody of the baby? Catherine's voice is strained. According to Patrick, the parents are older and have health problems. They aren't in a position to try anything like that. What we discussed with Patrick was a visitation arrangement. We can give them the option to be a part of the grandchild's life. They can't help that their son is a pervert, just like this baby can't either. Dominick rests his hand on my belly. I think it's commendable that you guys are willing to go through with this, Jonathan says. Son, I'm proud of you. It's hard taking care of children when they're planned, but I think you're up for the challenge. You'll make it look easy. I hope so. I know it sounds weird, but I already love this baby. I can't wait to meet him or her. Hearing Dominick talk like this just makes my heart melt a little more. There is nothing weird about that. A real man loves children. The ultimate in masculinity is to protect women and children. I know that Dominick is a protector. Look at what all he's done for me thus far.